Hello and welcome. I'm Joyce Tseng with news from Taiwan and around the region in case you missed it. A major new chip fab is up and running in Japan. It's the first in the country by Taiwanese semiconductor giant TSMC, and it's part of the company's closely watched global expansion that has pulled in support from both industry and governments. I attended the opening ceremony in Kumamoto Prefecture. A historic day for semiconductors here in Japan. The world's biggest chipmaker, TSMC, has formally opened its first fab here in Japan in Kumamoto Prefecture. It's now become the country's most advanced chipmaking facility and is set to give a major boost to Japan's tech industry. Tokyo has been spending billions of dollars trying to revive chip production at home, and it also gave considerable subsidies here to the Taiwanese company. Now, the fab uses TSMC's local subsidiary named JASM, which includes local tech giants like Sony and Denso. And certainly, the sheer scale and significance of JASM is clear. Here at the opening ceremony, Japan's Prime Minister Kishida Fumio sent in a video message saying that he anticipates more bilateral trade between Japan and Taiwan thanks to JASM. Meanwhile, TSMC founder Morris Chang and Chairman Mark Liu thanked Japan for supporting their business here.
Like all residents of Kumamoto, JASM will cherish this land and will work to implement green semiconductor manufacturing, and we will execute effective water recycling and commit to conserving more groundwater than the amount used by our fabs.
TSMC's arrival has transformed this area, which, as you can see, even from the neighbor of the fab, is mostly made up of farmlands. Now, as many as 750 Taiwanese people have already moved here to the Kumamoto area, and that's just the start. TSMC is set to build a second fab here later this year. Now, it's already impacted things like prices and traffic congestion. Some people here are nervous about this speed of growth. Earlier this week, I spoke to the owner of a pig farm just a couple minutes away from the TSMC site, and she says that she's worried that new neighbors may be not used to things like the noise and smell of her pigs. But she did say that she and other farmers are aware that they need to adapt, given that supporting chips is a matter of it's a national policy. And so she is eager to find ways to work with TSMC to find ways that Kumamoto's existing industries can thrive alongside advanced chips. Joseph Wu and Joyce Tseng in Kikuyo, Japan for TaiwanPlus. TSMC's first Japanese fab is a major development for the global semiconductor industry. I spoke with some analysts to better understand its impact.
JASM open desu. Dozo.
A factory opening like no other. World-leading chipmaker TSMC's first Japanese fab is now the country's most advanced facility of its kind. It's operating under the local subsidiary's name, JASM, a joint venture with minority stake partners including Sony and Denso, and subsidized by the Japanese government. TSMC founder and chips legend Morris Chang said he has high hopes for the collaboration.
Jasmine will, I believe, improve the resiliency of chip supply. I hope and I believe also start a renaissance of semiconductor manufacturing in Japan.
This is just the start. TSMC will build a second JASM fab later this year, with Toyota joining the partnership in what's become an overall investment of over $20 billion in Kumamoto. TSMC's celebration is an important early win in its uphill battle to expand outside of Taiwan, amid global urgency to secure advanced chips, the brains behind everything digital. Looking beyond its fabs in Taiwan and China, the contract chipmaker has ongoing projects in Japan's Kumamoto, the US's Arizona, and Germany's Dresden. It's pulled off this Japan fab with notable speed, opening just 2 years after breaking ground, unlike its Arizona project, still delayed despite having almost a year's head start over the Kumamoto site.
They basically avoided making a lot of the early mistakes they made in Arizona. They weren't on a leading edge node where TSMC was still trying to figure out the process in Taiwan and then trying to export it to America, where at Kumamoto you had the advantage of the technology. They understood it, they knew how it worked, they knew how to implement it.
In Kumamoto, the JASM site will start with 22, 28, 12, and 16 nanometer nodes, chips needed by automakers, an important industry for Japan. The second fab is set to offer 6 and 7 nanometer nodes, with both fabs combined expected to create over 3,400 new jobs. Local industry insiders say JASM could help revive Japan's chip sector, which last topped global charts in the 90s.
Japanese tech industry is like a flying plane without a moving engine. That means gradually the plane will going down. JASM will be the one of the key point for such kind of Japanese industry to have the way to ignite the engine again.
Getting Japanese chips back in the game now is not just in Tokyo's interest. It'd also be a boon for Washington, who's resorted to sweeping export controls amid a battle for tech supremacy with Beijing.
Both the US and Japan, regardless of who's in the government, is really going to be highly focused on working together to counter threats coming out of China and having secure supply chain. TSMC as well, given their investments in somewhat legacy technology in the US and in Japan, shows that US and Japan are willing to work with Taiwanese companies because they are the world leaders. But at the end of the day, we really want to avoid a lot of these supply chain crunches.
With TSMC now in its backyard, Japan has some of the best tools in the industry to up its game and secure its stake in the lucrative and critical semiconductor supply chain. In Japan, people have been calling it the TSMC shock. The new fab in farmtown Kikuyo has sent ripple effects across Kumamoto. While I was there, I met with some people at the epicenter of this historic investment. In this Japanese farm town, a powerful new neighbor, global semiconductor giant TSMC. The company's multi-billion-dollar fab under local subsidiary JASM has become Japan's most advanced chip-making facility. It's a huge economic and technological boost for the 41,000 people here in Kikuyo and the entire Kumamoto prefecture, home to 1.7 million people. But the mega investment has made some people nervous, like Maeda Kayoko. She runs the largest pig farm in Kumamoto, just minutes away from the TSMC site, and worries newcomers might not fit into the area.
家畜の鳴き声とか匂いとかですね、爪をね、新しく近隣にですね、引っ越してきた人がどう思うかは私たちは分からない。
Speaking exclusively to TaiwanPlus, Town Mayor Yoshimoto Takatoshi says setting common ground between farmers and chip makers is a priority. The town of Kikuyo is no stranger to semiconductors, already home to local tech giants Sony and Tokyo Electron. But TSMC's impact is a new level. Latest stats show Kumamoto's economic value is just over $40 billion US. TSMC's JASM alone has added half that amount, and that includes its plan for a second fab. Mayor Yoshimoto says it's an unprecedented opportunity for his town, but one that comes with risks.
半導体というとものすごくやはり水を使うので、地下水を保全するっていうのは非常に大事だと思います。そのためにやはりしっかりと農地を確保して、ジャスムの皆さん方が安心して、地下水が供給できるような体制を取るためにはやはり農業というのは守らなければいけないと思いますし。
And water isn't the only concern. There's also the issue of land. Real estate firm Mayor has been racing to find plots to build more housing.
ただやっぱりジャスムさんの要望の物件を探そうとするとどうしてもやっぱ新しく作るしか方法がないということで
JASM wants employees to have new apartments made of concrete, not wood, like traditional Japanese homes, and have surveillance cameras for safety. Some units are being snatched up as they're built. There's 40 units in this building, and this one-bedroom apartment is the only one left. Now, the real estate manager told me that Japanese apartments on average are not this big. They're usually only 33 to 34 square meters, but this one is 40, and that's at the request of Taiwanese families wanting a bigger space, and so they've been building to suit these needs. But with more people moving in, traffic has only gotten worse. Local resident Keishi Hisatomi's 15-minute commute to his supermarket job can now take over an hour. But stocking new Taiwanese goods on his shelves, he says the trade-off is worth it.
うちとしてはその通勤の渋滞というよりも、お客様が増えたので、うちは喜ばしいことかなと思ってます。
The town is transforming, and residents are finding ways to adapt. Some hadn't even heard of TSMC before, but seeing its influence, they're excited to promote their area, with the hope that Kikuyo's farm town charm won't be lost. Joseph Wu and Joyce Tseng in Kumamoto, Japan, for TaiwanPlus. TSMC's multi-billion-dollar fab is ushering in a new chapter for the Kikuyo community. In an exclusive interview with TaiwanPlus, Kikuyo's mayor Yoshimoto Takatoshi explained how his town is trying to keep up. Yoshimoto-san, you've previously described that after TSMC's arrival to your town, that Kikuyo has had to suddenly and quickly grow from a baby to an adult. Now that TSMC is open, how is Kikuyo the adult feeling?
どういう大人にまだ大人になりかけてるので、素敵な大人になるためにやっぱりいろんなことを考えて、いろんな職員とも一緒にいろんなスキルを学んで、そして立派な大人になりたいなと思ってます。
Kikuyo is known for its agriculture. Can you describe your vision for the future of your town?
といえば町のいろんなビジョンをもう一度しっかりと考え直そうという計画。それを TSMC が進出をしてこられて、やはりそれに見合ったマスタープランを今作り始めてます。土地の減少というお話ですけども。もともと菊陽町って37平方キロぐらいしかなくてものすごいスモールな町だったんですけどもやはり半導体特に TSMC さんジャスムさんのオーダーがあればしっかりと考えていきますけどもそれ以外であればやはり農地も守らないといけないし地下水やはり緑やもともと菊陽町にあったその風土というのはしっかり守っていかなければいけないので土地を農地として生かせれるような農地はしっかりと農地としてやるしこれが農地活用できそうであれば活用したいというふうに思います。
There are concerns that with more expensive cost of living and also resource competition that some Kikuyo residents will be pushed out. How are you addressing this?
やっぱり日本全体で今人材の流出というのは非常に問題です。ただやはり TSMC ジャスムがこの菊陽町に来たということをやはりこの強みに変えてやはり注目をされる町になってきているなというふうには思いますので、人件費を上げてというのはこの町の職員では当然厳しい。ただ他の中小企業の皆様方はそこに努力をしていらっしゃるのでいろんな角度から菊陽町がサポートできるような体制はやっていかなければいけないというふうには思います。
Thank you for watching this edition of In Case You Missed It. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Before we go, check out these early blooming cherry blossoms in Tokyo. I'm Joyce Tseng. Take care and see you next time.
more stories from Taiwan and around the world, please visit us at TaiwanPlus.com.